really didn't want to watch this movie. It's hard to believe this is actually a movie. There are so many talented people attached to it, it has a huge budget, and yet its mistakes are so amateur, it seems strange that they would actually release a movie like this.
Got a choice tonight. What we got here? We got chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla.
My job is to keep you alive until you die. Do you understand that? Spring break!
This is another film in the DC cinematic universe, and they're batting 0 for 3 right now. I am aware that some people like this movie, and some people adamantly defend it, but I'm really going to do the best I can to break down why everything in this movie is wrong.
You know, some of the criticism is so over-the-top vitriolic that the fans recognize that there seems to be something else going on, and they want the opportunity to see the movie and ring in on the movie and not be dictated to how they should feel about it. And the movie's good. The movie has a great heart, and the movie's made for the fans.
The story. The movie starts by showing all the characters in prison. This guy's in the sewer because he's an alligator or something. This guy's a fire guy, so they put him in water. They throw Deadshot in this small cell. But for some reason, Harley Quinn gets all this space, and she gets to climb around and shit.
Ralph. The reason Harley has a big cell is cause one of the guards works for the Joker and is able to supply her with a larger cell. You could say that doesn't make any sense either, cause how does a prison guard have the power to put her in a giant cell? Also, how does no one notice or question this officer without thinking that he may work for the Joker? Fuck it, never mind.
Play with me.
You put 5 of my guards in the hospital, honey. No one's gonna play with you.
What? How did she hurt your men? What did she do? She looks like she can barely take on a sandwich. Then we cut to their backstories. Deadshot had a daughter, and he killed people so that he could take care of his daughter.
Mama says I can't live with you because you kill people.
That's not true. That's a lie.
Then Batman shows up to arrest Deadshot while he's with his daughter, which is retarded. Batman would never do that. How about you wait for him to drop his kid off? How about you wait till he gets home? So then he beats this fucking guy up right in front of his daughter. And he's about to kill Batman, and his daughter goes... Then the police show up immediately. Great job, Batman. Wow, DC, you're really doing Batman justice. Ben Affleck is truly the best Batman. Then we get Harley Quinn's backstory. Harley Quinn meets up with the Joker. They fall in love in scenes that were cut out of the movie, so all that's left is just like 2 or 3 lines where Joker goes, "Can I get a machine gun?" or something. Then they escape together. Then Batman shows up again and arrests them. I'm gonna give the movie points because it shows a woman being punched in the face. I hardly ever see that in films anymore, so I'll give you bonus points for that. Then they introduce everybody else in like 3 minutes. Even though Harley Quinn and Deadshot got 15 minutes to explain their backstories, Captain Boomerang, El Diablo, and Crocodile Man only get like 30 seconds. Captain Boomerang robbed a bank, and I guess that's his thing. A witch, a human crocodile, a guy who shoots fire, and Captain Boomerang has a boomerang and he robs banks. You see the drop-off here, right? These introductions are all framed in this scene where Viola Davis talks to these random guys at dinner. This feels like a scene they shot after they finished editing the movie and realized none of this fit or made any sense. Then after we get the scene of Viola Davis explaining who everyone is and what the plan is, we get another scene of Viola Davis explaining who everyone is and what the plan is.
Not on my watch.
Then we get 10 minutes of scenes not featuring the Suicide Squad at all. Time that could have been put toward character development, you know? We get some scenes with the Joker, who has nothing to do with the main story, really.
Oh my God.
Then everyone's recruited, and they fight to save everybody, even though they're all criminals. The entire third act is just action, basically. We learn some character stuff, which I appreciate. So, if we're going to move forward from this point, we have to address that this plot doesn't make any sense. Viola Davis needs a force to combat a Superman-esque villain coming to Earth and trying to kill everyone. And her solution to this problem is to get a bunch of criminals who have no allegiance to anyone and are most likely completely fucking nuts, and having them defend everyone.
I like her.
The movie's made for the fans.
None of them are remarkable in any way, and they could barely fight off each other, much less a Superman-esque supervillain. Even when they're on the mission, they constantly talk about escaping.
Now I'm gone, because I got a life to live. Question is, are you coming?
This is exactly why you don't get a bunch of criminals to do this shit.
When the time's right, you hit Flag with a fireball, he'll be too busy burning to death to have a go at us with his phone at doom.
You couldn't get other people to fight the witch? You couldn't call Batman or Flash or Wonder Woman? What the fuck is Captain Boomerang gonna do against this? The only one I would consider the least bit effective is El Diablo. The rest of them can't do shit besides shoot guns and punch people. What are they doing different that the military can't do? Harley Quinn's not some fucking martial artist. This little segment is called the second act low point. See, in the second act of a movie, you have to work out something that happens so that all the characters split up, because on the plot graph that's the way it is. So the problem is all these characters are forced to work together and they can't leave, and if they do, they die because the collar that's attached to them explodes.
Now that's killer app.
The movie's made for the fans.
But despite that, they still have to do the second act low point for the characters, because on the plot graph that's the way it is. So they all just quit and walk away? You can't do that. So what is it that was so bad it made them run away from the mission? It must be something really bad to make them go, I don't even care if you kill me. I'm going to leave right now. I don't want to be a part of this mission anymore.
3 days ago, a non-human entity appeared in the subway station.
A witch. See, nobody could get near this thing, but the witch could. Needless to say, the whole thing was a bad idea. And that's how she escaped from Waller.
Oh.
You can just kill me right now, but I'm gonna have a drink.
So they were fighting the Enchantress the whole time, which should mean nothing to any of them, because they don't know who that is. They all run away to the same exact location, which is this bar. Harley pours a few drinks, and they all start talking about their problems. This is dumb.
Your daughter writes you every day.
Why do you have those letters on you? You thought it was an important thing to bring along? And why do you have them? You don't work at the prison. You're just a soldier. Why would they keep the letters from Deadshot if... Oh, fuck it. Like, we're watching a bunch of crazy people have rational conversations with each other. How this scene would play out is El Diablo starts telling the sad story about how his family died, and then Harley Quinn would probably start laughing. El Diablo would get pissed and start shooting fire out, and then the SWAT guy would come in and sit at the bar, and either Deadshot or Captain Boomerang would shoot him in the fucking head and then run away. Killer Croc would probably kill someone. It would just be a shit show, basically.
These are villains with souls. And I think that's indicative of his vision. And there's a beautiful moment in the movie where Killer Croc, where it's very easy to have a punchline that is ugly. But, you know, he says, I'm beautiful. And it sends a statement when a crocodilian, reptilian black man can say, I'm beautiful, about acceptance. You know, and I think in this kind of genre, that's very fearless and quite bold.
The characters and the acting. I do not blame any of the actors for their bad performances. I don't even know if I'd blame the director, David Ayer. I think everyone just miscalculated, and everyone was given freedom to do whatever the fuck they want, and as a result, no one is on the same page. So yes, bottom line, very talented actors all around. I like all of them, except Jai Courtney. He can go fuck himself. But the rest of them are great, and that's why it's such a shame their talent was wasted on this shit script. Harley Quinn. She's crazy and hot. That's her character. She's also the comedic relief, I think. I didn't laugh at a single thing she said, which is why I'm hesitant to call her the comedic relief. But other people said she was funny.
Love your perfume. What is that? The stench of death?
If you were to cut out Joker in this movie, Harley Quinn would have nothing. And Joker's barely a part of it. Joker's not even really related to this story. Why couldn't you just make a movie with Joker and Harley Quinn? Jared Leto even mentioned that there's enough footage to make just a Joker and Harley Quinn movie. Why is she even on this team? How effective can she really be? They tie her up in the scene as if she's Killer Croc. Like, what the hell is she gonna do? Captain Shovelface. He's the most useless character in the entire thing. He's also supposed to be another comedic relief, except he isn't funny either. Well, I'll be fair. He does do one funny thing.
You're free to go.
That's funny. If that had been the last time we saw him in the movie, I would have given this an A+. But he comes back the scene after, even though he has no motivation to come back. What, he just ran away to go get a soda and come back? So besides that, he sucks. And as if his character wasn't bad enough, he's played by one of the worst actors in Hollywood right now.
The development of these characters and, you know, the kind of the personal journeys that they all go on, you know, I think will take audiences sort of along with them. And that's the beautiful thing about this movie and this whole process is it wasn't just all about, you know, lights and colors and destruction and you know, characters that are kind of familiar in cartoon form. You know, it was we made something a lot more and yeah.
Slipknot. He's not even worth mentioning, because the amount of time it's going to take me to say the sentence is more than the screen time he has in the film. Will Smith. Will Smith plays Will Smith.
Yeah, you're a bad liar.
He's good at playing Will Smith.
Mama says I can't live with you because you kill people.
That's not true. That's a lie. She's lying to you.
What the fuck?
We some kind of suicide squad.
Ugh.
Y'all jokers must be crazy.
Y'all must be crazy up in this hizzy. So Deadshot as a character, I guess, isn't that bad. He has kind of an emotional core, but it's not really fleshed out at all. People act as if he has character development, and that's not really what it is. He has a daughter, and he kills people so he can buy stuff for the daughter. It's just really basic character development. It's not enough to make him an interesting person, because he isn't an interesting person. He's Will Smith in the Deadshot costume. If we're gonna talk about a character with heart, we're gonna have to talk about El Diablo. Besides the fact that he shoots fire, he also feels guilty because he killed his wife and kids by accident. This is what makes him the best character in the movie, because he isn't cracking unfunny jokes every 5 seconds. He actually has morality, and if it had been done correctly, I would have really sympathized with him, but the problem is the writing is terrible.
This is our home.
You put that back where you found it.
I'm taking my kids to Mom's.
You ain't taking my kids nowhere!
Instead of writing an actual dramatic scene, he kills his family off screen, and then they do the generic camera slowly pans up as he yells, "No!" He's not crazy, he's just very, very dangerous. And I can see how this character can change. The fact that he becomes a hero is plausible, unlike everybody else. Because the rest of these people are crazy. Katana.
You're late.
What?
This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn.
They introduced this woman like halfway through the movie. Why didn't you introduce her earlier? The witch lady. She's a pretty girl, but she has no character. She has no anything, really. Enchantress. I can't even describe her because there's nothing there. The only thing worth note is how silly her walk is. It makes me laugh every time. I guess we know where she put her cell phone, if you know what I mean. The soldier guy. Soldier guy's okay. His motivation is that he loves the witch girl and wants to save her. Their romance isn't really believable because they don't show it at all. I'm gonna show you this scene. This is literally how they edited their relationship. Ready?
I assigned him to watch Dr. Moon, and just as I hoped, it got personal.
Are you gonna kiss me or not?
Alright, if you say so. And then at the end of the movie, he saves the witch girl by killing the witch. You said crushing the heart of the witch would kill both of them, but it only kills the witch. So, if you had done this earlier, what does that mean? You could have avoided all of this and just, alright, fuck it. Go ahead and leave a comment about how the witch, like, was invincible. If you killed her with the heart earlier, that would have meant that she was the bad guy. But at the end of the movie, now that you killed the other witch guy, the witch is alive. Whatever, I don't care. Crocodile Dundee. This thing is just retarded. He has no character, he looks like shit, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't have any value in the movie, and I have no fucking idea why he's in it. The big bad black bitch. The Joker. The Joker is the biggest wasted opportunity in the entire thing. What's even worse is Jared Leto's terrible portrayal of the character. I'm not a comic book expert, but I know that this isn't the Joker. See, it's really easy to just say the Joker is crazy, but the Joker isn't just crazy. He enjoys chaos. That's why in the comic book version of Joker, he treats Harley Quinn like shit. I don't even know if I'd buy this romance between Harley Quinn and Joker. Do it. Because Joker is so fucking nuts, why would he even fall in love with anyone?
Do it!
I always saw it as like Joker thought Harley Quinn was another henchman that he could use and abuse. Not that Joker actually loved her. If you're willing to buy that, then fine. I guess I can buy it too. But it's like people who didn't understand the Joker as a character wrote and designed the character. He's a damaged guy, so let's write damaged on his forehead. He doesn't like Batman, so let's have a tattoo of a bat symbol with a knife through it. In the film The Dark Knight, Chris Nolan and Heath Ledger took as much time as possible, both on and off screen, developing his character, so he can be as intricate and as interesting as possible. The Dark Knight takes up so much screen time to show the Joker isn't just a crazy guy. He embodies chaos. He's an idea. In this movie, they don't have the time or the talent to convey this, so they just have the Joker say, literally, I'm an idea.
I'm an idea. I'm an idea.
I guess it's too late now, but they really should have done a solo Joker and Harley Quinn movie. How about you really work with Jared Leto to craft the best version of Joker you possibly can? I don't give a shit if he gave out gifts to the entire cast in character. What is he about? Prove to me, the guy watching the movie, that he isn't just a, oh, I'm crazy guy.
I could tell you meant that.
What bothers me even more is that they try to make Joker a sex symbol. That's the dumbest thing you could have possibly done. The Joker isn't sexy. The look. This is one of the ugliest looking movies I've seen in a while. Even though it's a fun comic book movie, or so they say, the film has the color palette of Son of Saul, which is a movie about a concentration camp in the Holocaust. It's so dark and muddy. It's just an ugly film with an ugly color palette. And the fact that we go from this to this brightly colored comic book shit is just jarring. And maybe if this movie had been entertaining, I'd forgive it. Or maybe if there was a point to it, I'd forgive it. And as if that isn't bad enough, half this movie takes place at night, and it's too dark to see anything. The action is poorly shot and boring. The CGI is horrendous. I'm shocked at how terrible it looks, especially the witch woman and the witch guy. Even the practical effects aren't good. Killer Croc looks stupid. I guess it's better than having a CG Killer Croc. Maybe just cut him out of the movie entirely. DC is clearly trying to make a more realistic cinematic universe, which is totally fine. But when you put this in the movie, kind of takes away from the realism, don't you think? Music. I've heard many people say that the music in this film is good. So, they took a bunch of popular music, all of which is good. Don't get me wrong. The soundtrack to this movie is great. But they took all this music and just shoved it into the movie. None of it fits. They play Bohemian Rhapsody for like 2 seconds and then they abruptly cut it off. In the first 3 minutes of the movie, they play 4 songs. Sometimes it's out of place and it takes all the drama and tension out of the scene. I'm not gonna give this movie credit because they put good music in it. That means nothing. They didn't compose the music, they didn't write the music. They took an intern's iPod playlist and forced it into the movie. Let's take a look at how Martin Scorsese incorporates music into his films. A lot of Scorsese's films are composed of music not composed for the film, exclusively. But it all fits. They match the tone of the scene. They match the pace of the scene. Sometimes they help establish the time period. And some of the lyrics even fit with what's going on in the story. Suicide Squad just plays music in the background that has nothing to do with anything. And the audience goes, I know that song! I like it! This movie is good! Before you say, the music is good, how about you listen to the original score for the film and realize that there isn't a single piece of memorable music in the entire movie. Bravo, everyone! You took a bunch of good music and put it in your shit movie to trick us into thinking your movie's exciting. Editing. The biggest complaint I heard about this film before seeing it was that the editing was bad. But what makes the editing bad? What even is bad editing? Well, this is the best example of it. The way this movie is cut makes no sense at all. It's essentially cut like a 2-hour-long trailer, where scenes don't really start or end, they just go from scene to scene with no rhyme or reason. I looked into it and it turns out this film was edited by a trailer house. I guess that explains it. You can see me on the Riviera. What? Why does this shot last a quarter of a second? They take these scenes between characters that could be interesting and just remove all the interesting stuff. And all that's left are a bunch of plot points. There was clearly supposed to be a much longer scene where these two characters actually communicated, but they just cut it down. They keep doing this wavy filter whenever Joker is around, and it looks awful.
You want no beef? You don't want no beef? You don't want no beef?
You don't like me? Fine, don't waste my time then.
This your lady.
Look, are you enjoying yourself?
No. That's your lady, Joker.
That's right.
Yeah. Yo, Jake.
That scene had no ending, no point, no progression, no tension. It meant nothing. The continuity isn't even right. There isn't a shot of her sitting down. They just cut and she's sitting down.
Darling, I'm walking out of here free man, or we're gonna start having some real fun.
Why don't we have some fun?
So, what was that scene? The thing is, when this movie has almost scenes, that's what I'll call them. I won't call them scenes. I'll call them almost scenes. When this movie has almost scenes, it isn't that bad. Because we get a glimpse into characters and how they talk and interact with each other, but then they just cut to something stupid. There's this rule called show don't tell. I'm sure you've heard of it before. Basically, tell your story with the visuals, and not by having a bunch of characters give exposition. But the editing in this movie is so bad, that's all they could do.
Talk about a workplace romance gone wrong. They became the king and queen of Gotham City, releasing a metahuman more powerful than any we've encountered. Doesn't work well with others.
Here comes Slipknot, the man who can climb anything.
No. Marvel versus DC. The general consensus among stupid DC fanboys is that Marvel fans are dumb and want the same schlock every movie, while the consensus among stupid Marvel fanboys is that DC fans like the movie before they even see it, because they love DC so much that they don't want to judge the movie fairly. And I can certainly see where both of these groups are coming from, and maybe if they hadn't been so immature and condescending, I would hear them out. Besides the fact that these movies are based on comic books, they should have nothing to do with each other, because they're completely different. DC is certainly trying to follow the business model of Marvel, make a series of films that all connect with each other and tell one giant story, but Star Wars is doing the same thing. Marvel is fun, crowd-pleasing entertainment, and for what it is, it's good. It isn't high art, they're not masterpieces. I don't hate DC because I love Marvel. I like watching good movies. DC is not making good movies. The problem isn't that these films are dark, either. The problem is that when judging these films on their own merits, they fail as films. They're incoherent, boring, ugly, poorly thought out cash grabs. DC now thinks it has to be like Marvel and throw in a bunch of colors and humor, hoping that would fix everything, when that was never the problem. This is the first DC film that's trying to be like Marvel, where it's actually fair to compare it to Marvel, because it's trying to do what Marvel does, just much worse. It's trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't have to be like Guardians of the Galaxy to be good. That was never the problem. I hear people saying that Wonder Woman is going to be good because there's color and humor. How about the story? How about the characters? How about the acting? How about the editing? Until DC finally realizes that they have fucked up the basics of filmmaking, they are never going to make a good film. Say whatever you want about Marvel movies. None of them are perfect. but they're at least competent. At least you care about the characters. At least they make you feel something. DC doesn't have to be like Marvel to be good. In fact, that's what's making it worse. And that's what's holding this film back from being something more interesting. Do your own thing, DC. Just do it well.
Hi, Ralph.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's Zack Snyder. What, are you here to have another fucking shootout? I don't think I have any guns. I also don't have a squib for us to use. I left that at home. So, if we're gonna fight, there's gonna have to not be any blood. And also, if we're gonna fight, let's not make a fucking mess like we did last time, because you got fucking blood all over my wall.
I'm not here to fight you.
Then what are you here for?
See, after everyone panned Suicide Squad, I blew up the planet and flew up into outer space. Turns out, that was just a dream I had. And when I woke up, there was a man. The man was coming through a time portal. There was like a bunch of electricity everywhere, and he kind of looked like the Flash.
It's the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
Do you know what the man told me? He said, Ralph is the key.
What?
You're the key. I want to show you something. Follow me.
Okay. What is this?
Just trust me.
And I'm calling out all the fucking stupid haters, including some bitch, Ralph the movie retard maker, dumb fuck. So your taste on anything is pretty much irrelevant. You suck Nolan's cock too, but yeah, the excellence in DC movies makes Marvel cock-sucking bitches jealous. Because it exposes Marvel for what shitty movies they make. And their movies are shitty. Like I said, besides Iron Man 1 and Hulk, after that pretty much went to shit.
Do you know what this is?
Some DC fanboy?
It's funny, right?
I think he might actually have a mental disability. So, it's not that funny. But if he doesn't, then I guess it's kind of funny to see.
No, not him, dumb fuck. The passion, the rage, the anger.
For your movie.
Yes, but it's not from a place of love. It's from a place of hate.
Marvel can eat shit, and Nolan, you can eat shit for stalling this universe for so many years. DC's the best, most cohesive, most awesome, most fun. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad is the fucking best.
If everyone loved the movie just as much as him, there would be no passion.
I would definitely say it's good. I would really recommend this movie.
This is solid coming from great action and much of that is for watching. I think it was some characters on the whole, it's very
I need you. And you need me. You can never get rid of me. Because without me, you're nothing. It's beautiful.
If that's what you want to call it.